So, I wrote an article about Rabbi Glazerson and Torah codes, Bible codes, and how he discovered through Bible codes an amazing, startling connection between the current storm that's plaguing America and rumors that President Trump's envoy is trying to pressure Israel into accepting a freeze on the settlements. It's a promise he's making to Mahmoud Abbas. And Bible codes is not something that I particularly connect to. And that's okay. Everyone has to find their path to their own personal truth. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with accepting it. I'm cool with not accepting it. But something that came up was that Rabbi Glazerson was talking about this connection between pressuring Jews and or pressuring Israel and natural disasters, and it sounds absurd, but actually, to be honest, to not accept it is absurd. I think people who are so logical and say there's nature and there's no connection between nature and their actions and it's science and you're talking like a superstitious fool. Okay, so then could you please explain to me why the day after George Bush Sr. came back from the Madrid conference, while he was at the Madrid conference, the perfect storm, what was called the perfect storm, was brewing in the Atlantic, and he came home and his house was mostly destroyed, his house in Maine. Why Hurricane Andrew came after the Madrid conference, the second Madrid conference, when Netanyahu went to meet with Bill Clinton. In the morning, Bill Clinton snubbed him, and in the afternoon, the whole Monica Lewinsky thing broke out. This happens time after time. I remember the Paris conference. While they were meeting, this was the conference, I guess it was about a year and a half ago, where they were going to pressure Israel into, you have to come to this Paris meeting where the 70 nations met. That was also a coincidence. And we will, Israel has a choice, either accept the two-state solution or be censured by the entire world. While they were meeting for the preliminary meetings, it started raining in Paris, where they were meeting. By the time they closed the meeting, this River Seine had flooded, the worst it's flooded in 30 years. Hurricane Katrina came 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks after Gush Katif, after the Jews were ejected from Gush Katif and their communities destroyed. After all these things, you would think people would catch on. But instead, at what point do you stop and say, it doesn't make sense to me, but I have to see that there is a connection? Isn't that the scientific process? The scientific process is trial and observation, and then making conclusions drawn from your observations. What people here are doing is they're refusing to see, they're refusing to observe. I'm astounded. I'm sorry. Yet another time. The envoy shows up, starts pressuring Israel. Boom! Massive snowstorm. I'm sure it's just a coincidence. You see, scientific process does not say it makes sense, so that's your conclusion. No. What scientific process says is first do your observations, draw your conclusions from the observations. If I have 16 or 17 examples where the horribly misnamed peace process, the Oslo process that has brought us 2 wars and 3 intifadas, is constantly, every step of the way is accompanied by natural disasters, you have to draw conclusions from these observations. I think. Thank you so much.